Is he not your type?
I find Blue cute. But like, what's tip two?
Like what's annoying me?
Yeah. What tip two? This is something I tip two.
No, to be honest,
Like you're not what he pictured?
yeah, he's not what he.
Oh, sorry, he's not what
To say I'm disappointed is an understatement because I do not quite understand how these people can behave like teenagers. Seriously, what is it about being on camera that makes people lose their manners and their home training? The idea that you have Gia bragging about SEX and sort of interrogating everybody at the table doesn't make sense. There's more to a connection than, SEX. If you want SEX, go and swipe right and find yourself someone and do that. Here, you're here to be married, to build a connection and have a growing and everlasting relationship. So the audacity that Gia was prioritizing this, I don't get it. I don't like how Married at First Sight Australia treats this show like a competition and everybody wants to be the it couple. Make it make sense. I'm not buying that nonsense. I really wish Mel could go home. Can we just send her home? We don't even need a commitment ceremony, because the idea and the audacity that she's been walking around and moping around all honeymoon for her to start giggling as though someone has changed their Duracell batteries. I don't get it and I don't like it, and I hate how she and the girls sat behind Luke and were busy sort of criticizing him and the relationship and everything that happened. Oh my God, I'm surprised nobody called them out. It's unacceptable, really unacceptable. At one point, looked like he wanted to cry and I was really sad for him. Anyway, hey there, thanks for stopping by. It's Valerie. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, click the like button, turn on the notification bell for when I upload new videos, and definitely leave a comment. In this episode, I'll be reviewing Married at First Sight Australia, Season 13, Episode 6. So you have all the couples, the honeymoons are winding down. We really didn't get to see much of the honeymoon, which leads me to believe that there wasn't as much drama as they wanted. Anyway, we see Philip and Stella there in the tub, and they're really very cutesy. And personally, I'm questioning, how did they go from, the friends dragging him to suddenly he has forgiven the friends and they're in this happy space? Make that make sense? I don't get it. Is he doing that because he's got a persona he wants to portray, or are they seriously in a happy space? You have Julia and Grayson. They are very happy. They're very giddy. They're excited. Sadly, on their honeymoon, they weren't physically intimate and they were actually sleeping in separate bedrooms. And it's like, make it make sense. Do you like this man or don't you? If you don't, then keep it stepping and the experts will find him, another wife. Gia and Scott, they are very happy. They became physically intimate, which made them grow stronger in their connection. They've said they've got a high SEX drive, so I'm not surprised. That's their priority, and if that is working, then the two of them are good, because it seems nothing else matters. It seems like they're a very superficial couple. They're both excited in their confessional, sort of expressing that, yes, they were physically intimate, and it was good, and they're in a good space. They actually crowned themselves the number one couple, and it's like, buddy, you've still got a couple more weeks to go. You have Becca and her husband, Danny. Well, they are still not in a good space. They're trying to put lipstick on this pig, but it's still not looking like a princess. Because at the end of the day, there is the issue of sexual attraction. And this man has said it several times that he's not attracted to his wife. So the idea that they're going to continue to sort of try and push and pretend like things are working, if that works for them, amazing. We root for love here at Reality Reviews by Valerie. So whatever works for them, good for them. So everybody's back and it's time to go for the dinner party. John obviously is explaining that this is the first dinner party. This is where the experts get to see how the couples are doing and how things are working out. And it's like, good for them. I root for love. If people are happy, I love it. So we have first to walk in, we have Stella and Philip. They're in a very good space. They're very happy. They're giddy. They're excited. And they're happy just to be there, to be, a part of this event. That's the impression that they give me, that they are just happy that they're there. They've been invited and they're sitting at the table. That's all they wanted. So I love that for them. They were followed in by David and Ashley. They are very excited as well. Obviously, they spoke about David's injury and how that sort of impacted their connection, their honeymoon. But they're doing very well. They're in a very good space and they're very happy to be there. Rebecca and Stephen, they are giddy, they're excited. She was happy. She's told the girls that she was excited from the moment she saw her husband because he was what she pictured or what she wanted. So they're good. Obviously, they say they haven't been physically intimate, and it's like, good for you. we have Danny and Beck walk in. They really looked awkward. They really looked awkward, and they did sort of express concern at, how would the other couples be doing and how that might impact them. And it's like, Beck, I think you need to focus on your own couple. I think you need to focus on your own couple. They really seemed very awkward. This man is trying to be the best person that he can, but he's not attracted to his wife. As I said before, whatever he saw or whatever happened when they were physically intimate, he's been turned off, and he's never going to, recover from that. You have Grayson and Julia come in. Obviously, they are the couple who the wife is bisexual. They say they're doing very well and they're very happy. They're not. They shared different bedrooms during the honeymoon. So to make that make sense, how are they doing very well? At least if they're in the same bedroom, even if they are not physically intimate, it's something different from them not even attempting to pretend to be, a happy couple. Mel walks in. She walks in ahead of her husband, Luke. And Luke is just trying to put on, a brave face on this. The excitement, it's like somebody will change the batteries or wound her up because of how she was vibrating, and suddenly she's got a bubbly personality. She's very smiley. She's very giddy. She's excited. And she was very happy to see the girls. And it's like, make it make sense. Luke looked like, someone had just, I don't know. He looked really sad. He really looked sad. And so it was sad to see him be there and continue to try and be the best husband he can be to someone who is not impressed by him. She told the girls that he wasn't her type, and she wanted her fairy tale. She wanted her happily ever after. She is stuck in a Disney princess body. She is stuck in that phase, and she cannot leave that, grown as she is. And so the idea and the audacity to think that she's going to find somebody else, good luck on you. Brooke and Chris came in. Obviously, Chris had been throwing a tantrum because Chris came into the experiment, I think, wanting to be a nuisance, wanting to be the next Elliot. And sadly, he was paired with an amazing woman. And so he doesn't know what to do with himself because he can't continue to be hypercritical of the experts. He had, makeup on his shirt and they kicked off. The shirt cost $300. And it's like, man, take it to the cleaners and keep quiet, or claim it from 9 and, keep it stepping. He was complaining that it's not going to go away. He said he didn't want to give the experts credit, although he's very happy with his wife. And I think he was more excited because he wanted to see who everybody else was matched with, to see how well they were doing. And it's like, buddy, you are here for yourself. Leave everybody else alone. Rachel and Steven, they seemed excited. They seemed very happy and very at peace. Because obviously they've managed to get over the drama. They were nervous. They give the awkward couple, they are the awkward, quirky couple, and they sort of understand one another, which I love for them, because as long as they understand each other, good for them. Then came in the prince and princess of the series, the self-appointed power couple, and it's like, girl, you're about to cry. It was Gia and Scott, and they seemed very happy, very excited to see everyone. Gia and Beck obviously clashed at the Hindu, so there was going to be drama between the two of them. It was just a matter of time until things kicked off, but they were always going to have issues, so they were already sort of smelling blood in the water, and it's like, oh my god, make it make sense. Anyway, everybody sat down for a bit, had a little conversation, and then dinner was announced. They went to the dinner table, and there was awkwardness there in where people were going to sit and how they were going to sit, and it's like, okay. Because it was going along very well, Gia decided to be messy. She really decided to be messy and started asking every single person whether they had been physically intimate because she wanted to know how other couples were doing. And it's like, make it make sense. For her to start with Rebecca and her husband, it's like, know your place, know the time. There's no need for you to do that, because why are you asking if they've been physically intimate? These people are older than you. They could be the same age as your parents or your aunts. So why would you feel the need to sort of ask somebody something that's embarrassing like that? Besides, they have kids, and maybe they don't want their kids to see them bragging about having sex on TV, even though you don't seem bothered by that. Stephen and Rachel were then asked about their honeymoon. Stephen sadly put his foot in his mouth because he said, I did something that sort of ruined things for us, and then he was very vague and elusive, and I love that they didn't give the specifics of exactly what happened, because it would have made his wife look petty and very sort of ignorant and self-centered. So I'm happy that he was able to skirt around it, and on her part, Rachel just said, we made a mistake and we're able to sort of learn from it, and it was just a misunderstanding and we're moving on. And it's like, okay, good for you. Gia went on her mountain about sex. She said, they had sex and they were very good. And so you then had her sort of point towards Beck because she was saying that, Danny has been checking me out from the moment I walked in, and it's like, buddy, maybe he likes plastics then. You should go to a rubber store and buy a couple more because there's nothing there that's actually genuine. She turned her wrath on these people until eventually it came out that, although Beck and Danny were happy, something had happened and, they were still trying to work through that. Yes, they'd been physically intimate, but they'd only done it once. And it's like, it's not your business. The number of times you have sex does not equate to a successful relationship. So the idea that Gia thinks this is it, I didn't like it. I really didn't like it. I thought it was very distasteful and I wish somebody had silenced her. On her part, Mel decided to move and join the girls. The way she was more bubbly and giddy and excited and talking, given the fact that they had been speaking about Gaviscon with her husband, yet she's got things to say to everybody else. And everybody was asking her, what is wrong? Why don't you seem happy with your husband? Well, I had a vision of what I was supposed to get and he is not it. And it's like, this guy is amazing. It's just a hairstyle that you need to change. It's just the clothing that you need to change. He's got a great body. You can sort of work with the material you have to make yourself your packaged husband. So the idea that she was saying that and doing all that, I felt was unnecessary. It really wasn't. Because they were sitting right behind Luke and she was going on and on about this. And I'm sad that none of the other girls had the patience or the audacity to say to her, please stop. Please stop. Eventually, you had her go back to sit next to her husband. Everybody started asking about that. She was very awkward about it. Oh, I didn't get the type of person I wanted. And I really wish he treated her the way Brooke has treated Chris. I really wish I wish Luke had humbled her and told her, actually, you're not my type as well, but I'm doing my best to work and see if we can make this thing work. Yes, it's not working, but I'm trying my best to see if we can sort of move to the next stage. I wasn't happy. I really wasn't happy at all. I was very disappointed that nobody felt the need to call this woman out for behaving like a little kid just because she didn't get what she wanted. The Gia and Becca situation, I wish they could both go home, really, because it's not necessary. We want to see people that are there to be married, not people that see it as competitive sport. There was no need for that unnecessary drama. Anyway, I'm so sorry about my late reviews. Thanks, guys, for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Click on the link in my video to watch my review from episode 5. Bye, everyone.